It should have been some like 100 years ago, in this place, here in the forests. I grew up not here. I was a city boy. I'm still a city boy. Actually, I'm not really at home where my forests are now. I'm actually from Brussels, and I was raised in Brussels. But I was so sick and tired of all of these people together, all of these cars all the time. I didn't have any space, so I decided to move away to the forests. But it was 100 years ago here in this forest, and there was a story about a man. There was no electricity back in the day, so they had a torch to go through the forest from one village to another. And some people, of course, they came home with the craziest stories. But there was one in particular. He began like 6 or 7 kilometers further on, and then he came out of the forest. But his hair was completely white. He had black hair, but then his hair was completely white. He was completely shocked. And the only thing that he could say was he could breathe fire. He could breathe fire. And then he died after 3 days of a heart attack, of what he has seen in that forest, in this forest here. So actually that was, I love legends, I love these kind of stories. But of course I don't take them very much serious. I came here for my dragon. I came here to have this connection with the dragon. But to be very honest, I didn't immediately feel welcome in these forests. And that was strange. I always felt welcome in forests. And here, it didn't. In the beginning, I was like, my dragon said to me, be careful. And that was very, very, could hear very much. Be careful and always stay yourself. That was like a warning. Like, always stay yourself and be careful. In these forests lives so many spirits, but it was not draconic. So I was actually invading this place. I felt like I was invading this place. And of course, I don't recognize these forests very much. These are endless forests. Of course, one day I was lost in the forest, and it was becoming dark. It was so cold. Fell down. I could no longer step that much, and of course, I thought at a moment that I was going to die. That is why I still continue this story. The story was amazing. I was going to die. I said it. I had my old phone. I didn't have a phone like I have now. So I didn't have light. It was fog. It was full moon. A full moon cannot be but I couldn't see anything because there was fog everywhere. And the things that I could only see, that the forest became alive because all of the animals, in the night, they become alive. The forest becomes alive. So I was not immediately afraid of that. I just wanted to get out of the forest. But I couldn't hear a car. I couldn't see a light. I couldn't see anything. And I was actually not thinking about the story that was from this man that turned white in his hair, that died after a while, that he said he could breathe fire. After a while, I thought, yeah, this is the end. I'm not going to make it. So I was actually saying, oh my goodness. And like I said, there was a lot of animals in this forest, a lot more than I ever thought. There were so many animals looking at me from the side of the forest, all of them. This light, this was reflecting the light inside of their eyes, the light of the full moon. Somewhere scary, but not at all, because I just wanted to get out. It was very like, a lot of people would be just terrified at that moment. But I just kept myself calm. I was thinking about the pain on my knee. And I had to get out no matter what. But then there was this, I thought at first that this was going to be a deer. But then I looked into his eyes, into the darkness of the forest, came closer, and this was not reflecting any white like the others, but it was reflecting red eyes. And I said that isn't, that is not like the other animals. And so it was not a small one, not at the size of a deer, but much bigger. And then I could see his silhouette, and he was just, this horns was amazing. He could touch all of the branches, all of the branches from the tree, so high above. And then I could see just a glimpse of him. Before I was looking into his eyes, I saw his face a bit. It was a skull of a deer. So I was thinking immediately about something like a Wendigo, but something different with red eyes. Everyone else would have a heart attack by seeing this, but I couldn't see much more than this. Very, very, small but long legs, like Slenderman, like something demonic, I would say. But I said I'm defenseless. I'm injured in my leg. I cannot protect myself. So it stepped closer, and then on, I don't remember anything. Now I know the forest much better. There is a dark place. When I saw into his eyes, I no longer had any recollection of what happens next. I was just completely blacked out. I don't know what happened. And then the next thing that I could remember is the lights of Suni. That is a village in the middle of the forest. And that was so strange about it, because to reach the village you have to climb a mountain, even practically. It's very high, this village, and I couldn't have no recollection of doing that. I don't know what happened. That was so strange about this. And after this, I felt so welcome in this forest. It was like this being was some kind of a guardian for this forest. Like all of the animals listened to him. All of the animals, that stared at us. Once I could call my dad Amin Suni. And all of the animals, I saw all kinds of animals, like foxes and deer, even goats with curled horns. I never saw this before, but then I could see it. Even otters and all of the kind of beings, like wild boar, deer, everything. Foxes, a lot of foxes. And they were all staring at us, how we drive by, not moving an inch. My dad said, "What the hell is going on?" And I was saying nothing. I was just too paralyzed, but I also had a lot of pain. But there was always something that I couldn't see, that I couldn't remember. What happened in between, that I saw into his red eyes, until the moment that I saw the lights from Suni. That was such a mystery. But I can say, this entire encounter, I think that this is actually the being that was seen by this man, that his hair turned white. Maybe there was something that I shouldn't see, wasn't allowed to see. And there, maybe, I think, I have theories about this, And then after a while, I felt so welcome in this forest. Because I love the animals. I'm even vegan, I love the animals. I want to protect this forest. I want to be here in this forest and protect it against humans. And maybe there are a lot of disappearings in this forest. A lot of people that couldn't go out, couldn't find a way out. And I think that this might be it. A lot of people won't believe me. A lot of them won't believe me. But this is the story I want to say to everyone. Because this was just extraordinary. This was just something that I have to say to the people. What kind of a forest is this? This endless forest that reaches out from Belgium to France. What kind of a forest is this? I love this forest. I love it so much. It's like I was accepted as the follower of the dragon. Like I was accepted by the guardian of this forest. That I survived this encounter, that a lot of people didn't. So I even to this day, I always remember the image that I saw. This skull, the skull of a deer, but the horns that could even be as white as the trees itself. This is a story actually of a legend that I have encountered in this forest. And like I said, a lot of people don't believe it, but yet my dad was there to see all of these animals staring at us. So I love to tell this story, just because it was real, it happened. And since ever, I felt at home. I'm home here. This is my forest.